Master Shake, and today is Tech Talk. The date is Tuesday, June 19th, 2018. Happy Juneteenth to all of my melanated folk here in America. For those of you who don't know what Juneteenth is, look it up. But today I'm going to talk about something a little different. Today, I want to talk about XXX Tentacion's murder. And the reason and how that ties into a tech talk is I want to talk about the lack of empathy in today's tech age. So, the crux is on the lack of empathy in today's tech age, but I'm going to be using XXX Tentacion as an example. So, for those of you who do not know, XXXTentacion was robbed and murdered yesterday in Florida while he was out. I believe he was shopping for a motorcycle, and he was shot and killed in his car. And while that's sad and unfortunate, the XXX was in some controversy, so I'm not going to spend today talking about that and whether or not some people say it was karma. Some people, I'm not going to get into that. Uh, the thing that got my attention was the fact that his final moments were filmed. He's laying there bleeding out, dying, and it was filmed and shared all over the internet. And people in the video being like, "OMG, that's Tentacion," and they're like, "Oh, they shot him," and just and people just filming it. That was bad in and of itself, and I'm going to speak on each part in depth. But the part that bothered me even more than that was the responses on social media. The responses on social media were very heartbreaking. Um, so let's start with the recording in and of itself. Uh, from what I saw, that there was only like one person that was actually attending, tending to XX. I think his real name was Jase, Jahseh, Jase Onfroy. So I'm just gonna say Jase. Um, so they were checking on Jase, and I think somebody was on the phone with the ambulance. But everyone else, it was a pretty sizable crowd of people. Either had their phones out recording, or they were just standing there like OMG. Uh, there was like gasp and stuff, but it really did. It just didn't really feel. It felt like these people were just desensitized. They were very desensitized to what was going on, and the reason why them and most of America, to be honest, is so desensitized when stuff like this happens, and it's so easy for these people to make jokes and whatnot on social media is because we see it all of the time, literally daily. And for those of you who don't know, Jase wasn't the only rapper who got murdered yesterday. There was another rapper in Pittsburgh, Jimmy Wopo. I've never heard of the guy, but he got murdered in a drive-by yesterday as well. So there was two um, prominent rappers who were murdered in two separate drive-bys. Um, Sorry about that. My connection was acting up for some reason. But yeah, so the part that really bothered me was the fact that people were making light of it on social media. Some flat out making jokes and laughing and saying that they were glad that he was dead. And all this stemmed from some. He was involved in a legal matter with an ex girlfriend that alleged that he abused her. He was saying that she lied. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the details of that because it's not even really important anymore, matter anymore. He's dead. Um, in terms of the legality, not in terms of if it did happen. There's still emotional damage there, but the online debate whether he did or didn't do it between people who have no idea what went on in the situation, that's neither here or there anymore. So for people to make jokes and say that they're glad that he gets what he deserves and nobody should feel um, anything for an abuser. Um, this dude, let me put it this way. Let's say that he did. He was an abuser or whatnot, and the victims that he abused, they snapped and killed him. I don't think anybody would really have much sympathy. Uh, but this guy was murdered in broad daylight on a random robbery. It was cold-blooded murder. It had nothing to do. There's no justice. There's no karma justice in that because it's not related to the situation at all. That was just another senseless murder. There's a lot of stuff left unresolved because he's dead now. There's stuff that cannot be resolved now because he's dead now. And if the people who were making these jokes, really cared about the victims, then I feel like they would understand that. I'm gonna move a little closer to my Wi-Fi because my connection keeps getting choppy. Just hold on 1 second. Let me grab this. Head over closer to the Wi-Fi. But yeah, I mean, if these people who are making these jokes, they're saying that they're doing the victim. Even the victim went on social media, it was today or last night or whenever, and was basically saying, "Stop tagging me in these disrespectful posts." I'm hurt right now. I'm hurt, whether or not, despite what happened between them, she still loved him. And you people are out here making jokes, sharing his death video, saying that it's justice and karma, yet the person who allegedly had the abuse done to her is telling you that's disrespectful, stop, and you're keeping on doing it. There's something wrong. Society has become immune to human decency and respect. Absolutely. There's something really wrong with that. And technology, fortunately and unfortunately, has enabled it really has enabled the democratization of free speech, and that's both a good and a bad thing because I think the instant access to being able to tweet something or post something, like something, share something, I think there's something going on in the brain chemistry where people just don't think that it doesn't get far enough to think about the emotional aspect because the reward system is being triggered so fast because this is literally is instant gratification. And these companies, they're developers in general, just because we cannot fathom what our software will become. Mark Zuckerberg could never fathom what Facebook would be today when he was first building Facebook. So as we build these systems as developers, as much as possible, as much as we can, we have to keep in mind how people are going to use this. And will this, just like how software disrupts industry, will it be a human experience? All right, let me try to switch the Wi-Fi. All right, becoming viral is what's hot, no matter the injury causes others emotionally. Yeah, so like I'm saying, this culture of virality is really got the selfie stick. There you go. This and this cause of not thinking. I mean, we're really like zombies. So I mean, basically, what I was saying is these companies, these developers, when we're building the software, we have to keep in mind how people will use it. If something is going to it's psychology. It really is. If you're building a system that's going to deliver gratification and is going to deliver instant gratification, what are you doing to offset it? You know, that's actually one of the reasons why I like those like castle defender games. Like I've downloaded this game called Puzzles and Empires and Puzzles or something like that. It's a little puzzle game, but the thing is, like, you can't just sit there and play the game over and over and over. It actually forces you to wait. Like you have to use your little tokens to like fight every battle, right? So you know, let's say you have six and each battle costs one. After six battles, you have to wait like 3 hours before you can play again. But as it recharges, and I like that because they're literally forcing you. They're taking on social responsibility. They're like, we've seen what games like Candy Crush and Angry Birds and stuff have done to people because of that instant gratification. So you know, we're going to force you to get off of this game for X amount of time. And at the higher level you get, the more you have to wait. Now, of course, they also capitalize on that in the form of you can skip the waiting by paying in-game currency. So then they'll sell you more currency. So, you know, they gave it a way out, but you know, most people aren't going to spend the money to do it. So, you know, back to what I'm saying, you know, when we've created a culture of virality, and this culture of virality has come at the expense of our empathy as a collective. And like I said, you know, we're watching these videos, literally watching Jase bleed to death, dying. And there was another rapper a couple years ago. It was one of them Chicago rappers. He hanged out with G Herbo and all them. He got shot up. I think it was at a 4th of July. I think it was 4th of July barbecue. And they filmed his last minutes. You can see, and he's gasping for air and stuff. And it was just like, it was like 10 phones around his face. It was hard to watch. I mean, and like I said, the death itself isn't hard to watch. I mean, it's hard to watch, but it's not as hard to watch as watching the other people who are living around them not show any sort of empathy. But you know, I don't think, I think the cat's out of the bag at this point. Meaning, my connection keeps going. Is the connection going out for you guys? Because it keeps saying it has to reconnect. So let me know if it's like choppy. I need to do something. I tried to switch to my other Wi-Fi network and it wasn't having it. But anyway, the cat's out of the bag in terms of the technology as far as hardware. You know, all these phones have HD cameras on them. You know, we all have LTE 4G connections. So the technology, both on the software and the hardware end, is already there. So it's about basically the stuff that's already existing, how to regulate that without being oppressive. And then also, it's choppy at times and blurry. All right, cool. Also, new upcoming companies and people who are developing new software, you know, taking into account that, or taking on that social responsibility to regulate their software and make sure it does what it's supposed to do. Let me try the Wi-Fi one more time. All right. I just turned the Wi-Fi off. Hopefully that solves the issue. I just hope nobody calls me because then it's gonna knock me off. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean the virality comes at a cost of our empathy. So the existing the police are out here shooting unarmed black people. You know, I don't want those videos to not. You know, that's something that needs to go viral because that's a social impact. Right. It's catch 22 as videos also save people. Right. So I mean, it's a really tight thing. So, you know, we could do stuff like, you know, we could use AI to analyze stuff in real time, but then you're left with, well, who the centralized people, the centralized organizations, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitches, they're the ones who are making the final say so. You could go with a decentralized approach, which would address that problem, but then you have a problem of adoption because most people don't want to be a part of the network; they just want to reap the benefits of the network. Yeah. So there's a lot to think about, and I don't have an answer, but I would like to participate in the discussion because I don't know, man. It's just messed up. It's messed up how self-righteous some people could be. I mean, at the same time, I'm also appreciative of these platforms that allow people to show their true colors like that, right? Um, because you know you need you need to know how people think. The presidential election, you know, and our current president is a huge example of that. I think without Twitter, I I don't know if Donald Trump would have won without that social media platform because of the virality, because of how he leveraged it, and despite what you think about the man, the way he leverages social media is genius. People say it's nonsensical. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and he gets exactly what he wants every time in terms of results, in terms of attention, in terms of where are the eyeballs going, and that's where everything, because that's what virality is all about. It's about eyeballs. Everybody wants their content to be seen, content generation and eyeball retention. But you know, what's it worth to get to go viral and have your video shown a million times? Most people who post these kind of videos, like the person who posted the video of Jase being murdered and bleeding out in his car, I can all but guarantee that person hasn't done any video before, and they don't, you know, they're not a content creator. They're not going to do anything to leverage the 10, 15 seconds of fame that they got from posting that video. Yet, you know, if they do have a conscience at all, they probably will feel some sort of emotional toll for a long time, and all of his loved ones who saw that video go viral definitely going to feel that for a lifetime. So, you know, my point being, most people who post these videos, these lack of empathy videos, you know, addicts overdosing, people being murdered, all this crazy things, they're like one and dones. They don't even do anything. Like you're not even gaining anything out of it besides, like I said, the 10, 15 seconds of fame that doesn't last long at all. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Um, like I said, I don't have one solution. I don't think there is one solution because it's not the technology's fault. It's our collective conscious. It's our society's fault. And you know, we could talk about the reasons how we, you could say devolved or you could say evolved, depending on how you look at it, but how we got to this point in our society. Um, if you aren't following me already on social media, follow me at MasterShake08, MastaShake08. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Discord, Telegram, Reddit, Follow my Facebook channel. It's Jerome Parker. And it's the same as my YouTube channel that you're watching right now. And if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Share this video and comment. I definitely want to hear your comments. What do you guys? What are your thoughts on today's society? What are your thoughts on the video? If you have seen the video, did you think it was appropriate for it to be shared? If so, why? If not, why not? I'd love to hear from you guys. But tomorrow, we are continuing the video game creation series. We are going to work on our environment and build out our game world. So I am very excited to see you. Holler.